to it and a power source. When the power goes off, the lights come on. These are examples of some. Test them. There's a little test button on them. You push that button down. Once again, you as the crowd manager don't have to do all of the physical work, but you have a guy pushing his broom. You can say, hey, take that broom handle up there and push on that button and hold it. And count. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Have them count to 30 seconds. What that does, that takes the battery and depletes it a little bit. Then it gives it a chance to recharge. That's exercising your battery. If you don't exercise it, within 5 years you're replacing it. This is a version of outside lighting. Emergency lighting has to be to the public way. The public way is the street. Somewhere away from the building. And why away from the building? Because if there's an emergency, police and fire need to get into the building. We don't need to work our way through the crowd dragging a hose or a stretcher. Okay, all exits, stairs, and ramps. This is a common place where people don't think about, it's just the stairs, man. It's extra space, so let's store stuff in it. It's just a landing. Well, this is a cart. The stairs are over here. If somebody didn't push that all the way over there and panic happens, someone's going to get that with the side of their leg and it's going to wheel itself in front of everybody else. Then we can look at this. Let's say someone just casually walking out there flicks their cigarette into the box. Now, that exit, which is a rated assembly. A rated assembly means that's an area of refuge. That means when people are leaving the building, they have somewhere safe to go because a fire can burn outside that area for 2 hours before it comes into that assembly. Okay? The storage, you put a fire inside there, now that assembly's gone. Now I mentioned that this is an assembly, an area of refuge of sorts, to keep you safe in case there is a fire and you can't get totally out of the building. That will make this a chimney, just like an MGM. The smoke will come in there and it'll go right on upstairs. This is actually outside the exit door. In a panic situation, you think anybody's going to trip over that? What about this pile here? They had a big cooler and they just went outside the back door and dumped it. No. Panic situation, once again. Someone's going to run out of there, slide across the ice, boom, down, crack their head open. People are going to trip over them. Unnecessary. These are all things that you have to be aware of. Some of this is just awareness, like this. You have to keep your hand pulls clear all the time for fire alarm systems. I don't expect you to know everything there is to know about your fire alarm system. That's you giving it to a company that knows what they're supposed to know about it. But you're supposed to know that you have to keep them inspected, operational, and clear so that anybody can reach the hand pull and they can see the notification device. This is actually built into a countertop. That's not clearly accessible. This one here, as you can see, there's the notification device. That's the hand pull. Some of you have problems or are concerned with your patrons pulling pranks, pulling the hand pull and running out the building because they don't want to pay their bar tab. This one, you can't really see it as very well, but that has a plastic cover over it. Those are allowed. Those are UL inspected and NFPA approved. What it is a plastic cover and it has an alarm. They pull that off and it makes this ear-piercing screech. That lets everybody know that somebody pulled it off. Then, by the time they pull the hand pull, everybody's looking at them. At least you're getting an identification of who did it. Or it freaks them out and they run out. You see damage to any kind of a alarm system, it needs to be repaired quickly. Once again, early notification is important. Sprinkler systems. I'm not asking you to be a sprinkler expert, but all new assemblies are required to have them. They need to be inspected every year. And you need to keep your sprinkler heads unobstructed. That sprinkler head needs to spray in a pattern. It needs to cover so many square feet of the floor. If you put something next to the sprinkler head and it can't spray over it, that whole portion of your building is now unprotected. These are some of the components you need to look for. On the outside of your building, this is a fire department connection. When we pull up and there's a fire, we will hook up hoses there. It's going to be kind of hard to do that in a hurry. Time is of the essence. Obviously, someone needed some more hanging space. The only thing that can hang from a sprinkler pipe is a sprinkler head, period. No questions asked. No phone wires, no data wires, no nothing but sprinkler heads. No wires. You can't even loop them across. Storage. Like I said, it needs to develop a pattern. It sprays out in like a cone-shaped pattern. It's going to do nothing but spray these two boxes and a little bit out front. You can't really see it too well, but that is an actual sprinkler pipe, and that's a curtain draping. Kitchen hoods, you have to be aware, most of you have them, you have to be aware of the fact that they need to be inspected and maintained, because that is what's going to contain the fire into the kitchen. You don't want the fire to get out of control, you don't want your business shut down for any longer than it has to be. A kitchen suppression hood will shut your business down, but it will shut it down temporarily. You can almost be operating the next day. You also have to have a Class K fire extinguisher. That Class K is just for your deep fryer. You have to know that it has to be in there, and you also have to have a regular fire extinguisher. That would be the red one. We'll be getting to that in a few minutes. This is your system. That alarm right there goes to this system. These here are plastic caps for your spray nozzles in your hood. If you see them and they're just dangling, they need to be stuck back on there. So what happens is that little grease vapor gets in there. There's a little nozzle inside there. The grease will plug that up and it will not spray. The grease fire, kitchen fire will get out of control and your business will be shut down longer than you want it to be. This is what your hand pull looks like. Not all of them. This is not all inclusive. If it looks like something like this, you need to call the person on the tag and let them know. They need to come back out and fix it because this is inappropriate. Might not work. It might work. But when you need it, it needs to work. Okay, we're going to do a little fire extinguisher training. Everybody knows we have the ABCs of fire. I'm not going to get extremely in-depth because we don't have time for it, but I will go over a few things. They are broken out into categories of what you need and what size. This is what they look like. This is the ABC type. You are required to have a flag above it so that if I'm standing here and it's up on the top, I can see it because there's a flag above it. This is the Class K. All kitchens with deep fryers are required to have it along with the sign. That sign basically tells you what to use it on. Actual photos, once again, fire extinguishers have to be readily accessible. Why? Because if there's a fire and you're properly trained to use it, you try to put the fire out, you have to get to it as quickly as possible. I'm thinking that's going to be tough there. This isn't an actual assembly here in Grand Rapids. That's the sign that's required above it. Where's the extinguisher? You have to think about it when you put your pipe and drape up. Don't cover the extinguishers, don't cover the hand pulls, don't cover fire alarms. Alright, what we're going to do now, just because I'm here, I want to give you as much as I can. This is my genuine imitation fake fire rug. There's your fire. First thing you're going to do when you see the fire, you're going to panic. No, you're not. You're going to go get your fire extinguisher. You're going to yell, fire! Somebody else is going to call 911, right on. Get the fire department rolling because if you can't put it out, we will. But you can at least try to contain it. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your fire extinguisher. You're going to take it over near the fire, not on top of the fire. You're going to put your finger in this little pin. You see this? This is pass. Pull and squeeze sweep. You're going to pull the pin. That's a misnomer. You pull the pin, people, big arms, they can pull the pin. Those who don't have the big arms, here's a tip. Put your finger in, give it a twist. A little plastic tab right here breaks with a twist. Pull the pin all the way out. Grab your hose. You're going to come up to your fire. You're going to aim at the base of the fire, which would be here.